Neurons have the same basic structure as just seen, almost similar structures that we have, although they look different in terms of structure. So that's the main distinction between the three types of neurons. So the structures are the same, but although they have the same structures, but different sizes, functions, and the like. The next slide, we are looking at the interconnectivity between the three neurons. So the one on the extreme left, this gives us the sensory neuron. The sensory neuron, in this case, we have the dendrites that are connected to the sense organs. And then the direction of impulse conduction is towards the cell body, which goes all the way towards the axon, and then into a relay neuron, or the connector, the interneuron, as you mentioned, number 2, which is actually within the central nervous system. That's the brain, part of the brain, and the peripheral nervous system, the spinal cord, which further interconnects with the third neuron, which is the motor neuron, that is now connected to the effector organs, that, like the muscles and the glands, that affects the interpretation of whatever response is being coordinated by the body. So essentially, whatever stimuli the body perceives is received by the sensory neuron all the way to the central nervous system via the relay neuron, which further connects the intended message towards the motor neuron, which ends up either to the respective effector organ, like the muscles or the glands, and the action can be undertaken appropriately. So as you can see, the three neurons actually are actually interconnected. They work in unison to effect a given response. Now we go now into the basics of each particular type of neuron. The first one, we begin with the sensory neuron. Now this is actually the nerve cell that links our sense organs, such as the eyes, the ears, the skin, the nose, and the tongue, with our central nervous system. So basically, the sensory neurons are actually the ones that are linked our sense organs to the central nervous system. In this particular type of neuron, its cell body is normally situated off the axon and outside the central nervous system. As you've just seen the diagram, the axon is actually off the axon and it's actually outside the central nervous system. If you look at the same neuron once again, you discover that the receptor dendrites, those are the receptors that are connected to the sense organ. They are actually located in the sense organs, like your eyes, the skin, the tongue, and the like, while the terminal dendrites are actually located in the central nervous system. Now, the terminal dendrites of these sensory neuron are the ones that now are connected to the relay neuron in the central nervous system. Now, the main function of these sensory neurons, is actually to transmit nerve impulses from the sense organs to the central nervous system. So whatever stimuli you perceive is actually connected it's actually transmitted from your sense organ to the central nervous system by the sensory neuron. This is our sensory neuron, general representation. So these are the receptor cells, the dendrites that are connected to the sense organ, for example, the dendron, and then it is actually a millimetry shape that covers the neuron, and then the direction of contraction of impulse is this, from the sensory organ towards the central nervous system. So the coordination is from sensory towards the central nervous system. Now, a more defined example of the same is actually where you have a case whereby we are depicting this sensory organ. If you look at this one here, this is a part of your skin. So this is a pin that is actually pricking your skin. So when the pin pricks your skin, you feel pain. So the sensory receptors in the skin will sense pain that is actually transmitted via the sensory neuron, of course, then this sensory neuron, and then into the relay, the central nervous system, it gets connected. The impulse is connected to the relay neuron that further connects the central nervous system to the motor neuron that sends a message to the effector organ, in this case the muscles. If it's your arm or your finger has been pricked, you then have no choice but to have the effector muscles actually flexing so that your finger is withdrawn from the pin that's actually pricking your finger. So you can see how the transmission occurs from the sensory organ via the central nervous system and back to the effector muscles that actually facilitates the corrective action to be able to respond to the right, offer the right response, and the signal that is required is actually effective. Part 2, we have the motor neuron. Now this is a nerve cell that links or connects the central nervous system with the effectors. Now in this case, the effectors we are looking at the muscles and the glands. Its cell body is actually located at one end of the action and in the central nervous system. The motor neuron, actually its end plate terminates in a muscle or a gland. And then it transmits impulses from the central nervous system to the effectors. So this is what connects the central nervous system and the glands and the muscles. This is a basic structure of a motor neuron, just like the case that we just seen the other cases. Basically, if you look at the cell, you see that we have almost the same basic things. We have the nucleus, this is the cell body, the axon, the dendrites, the Schwann cell, rune of Ranvier that tries to propagate the nerve impulse, and then you have the body shell that actually insulates the cell and the motor end plate. So this is the direction of the impulse. So this, the cell body of a motor neuron, is embedded in the central nervous system, while the motor end plate is actually terminates in the effector organ, like the gland and the muscles. Simply, is how as a connection again between sensory response, the skin, sensory neuron carrying the impulse to the central nervous system, connected by relay neuron that now is connected to our motor neuron from here all the way to the effector muscles, in this case our biceps muscles that are able to flex, and then you are able to remove your arm or whatever part of the body is actually being affected to be able to connect to that. We briefly now to look at the differences. We compare the structures of the two neurons that we just discussed, motor neuron and the sensory neuron. Basically, in terms of the size of the axon, number one, the motor neuron has a long axon, this section here, to be able to see from here up to here, and then you compare it to the sensory neuron, this one is actually short. So it is short in sensory neuron, a bit long, a bit longer in the motor neuron. At the same time, if you look at the receptors, the sensory neuron is actually, it has receptors, those are the sense organs definitely, while a motor neuron lacks receptors. Number three, for the motor neuron, you realize the cell body terminates, is terminal at the head part of it, and it has dendrites. While for the sensory neuron, the cell body is actually at the side, and while it has no dendrites. Number four, a motor neuron has many short dendrons, unlike in a sensory neuron, which has one long dendron. So this is the dendron we are looking at, is one long for the sensory neuron, whereas in this case we have many, but they are short in size. The last type of neuron is what we have is the relay neuron, which actually links, is a nerve cell that links a motor neuron and the sensory neuron. Of course, through small gaps, which we refer to as neurojunctions or synapses. We'll be able to discuss this further in the next lesson. So the neurojunctions are what actually those are gaps that the interconnection junctions between the two masses. So it is therefore classified as either a bipolar or a multipolar neuron. The entire neuron is actually located within the central nervous system. So a relay neuron is actually found within the central nervous system. It is actually non-myelinated, so it is not it's not covered by the belly shell, just in the other cases. Now the main function is entirely to relay nerve impulses between the sensory and the motor neurons that we have. This is a basic structure of a relay neuron. If you look at the size, there's very many synaptic headings, very many dendrons, but they're also very short. The cell body is here and actually is very short. So that is what interconnects the sensory neuron and the motor neuron. So basically, the other case that we had, the relay neuron is actually what links those two. It is basically the entirety, the blue one here. Now the green color represents our sensory neuron all the way to the spinal cord. So from detection of the source of heat, that is actually burning the fingers, causing the high temperature, it connects all the way to the central nervous system, from where now the relay neuron operates within the central nervous system, and then after the interpretation has been done by the brain, the action to be undertaken is now coordinated through the motor neuron, the one that is in red, that actually connects to the muscles. These are now the effector glands that we're looking at, and that now instructs your arm to flex the biceps so that your fingers will be lifted away from the source of heat that is causing the challenges that are being brought by the high amount of heat that is actually burning your fingers. This basically a very simple stimulus response pathway. It's a very general diagrammatic representation of what happens. So basically, this is a source of stimulus. It could be light, high temperature, source of heat, pain, whatever. So this, what is perceived by your senses, those are the receptors. Then the stimuli perceived is transmitted via the sensory neuron into your central nervous system. Now within the central nervous system, that's why now we have our relay neuron that now connects sensory neuron and the motor neuron. So whatever decision your central nervous system makes in regard to the perceived stimulus brought about by the sensory neuron, it is now effected, or it is transmitted via the motor neuron, which now sends the corresponding message of the action to be undertaken to the effector, which can be your gland, to secrete a particular hormone, or your muscle. You can either relax or flex it or whatever you do, and then the corrective response is undertaken, and then that will be able to facilitate the total coordination of the whole setup that you are looking at. That's basically the stimulus response pathway that depicts the connectivity between the three types of neurons and the entire central nervous system, from the stimulus perception to the response being undertaken to effect. So next, I would want us to look at a summary, a video that's going to summarize our whole session, and then we'll be able to.
Neuron or nerve cell. In animals, control and coordination are provided by nervous and muscular tissues. All information from our environment is detected by the specialized tips of some nerve cells. These receptors are usually located in our sense organs. Nerve cells or neurons respond to external and internal stimuli. Let's understand the structure of a neuron or nerve cell. Neuron. A neuron is a nerve cell with branches. It is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. It may be elongated over 100 centimeters. a neuron can detect, receive, and conduct the nerve impulse to various parts of the body. Cyton. It is also called cell body. Its granular cytoplasm is called neuroplasm, and in the center a spherical nucleus with nucleolus is present. Nissel's granules are a number of small basophilic granules of various shapes found in neuroplasm. Dendron are the branched projections of a neuron that act to conduct the electrical stimulation. Dendrites. These are terminal branches that arise from dendrons. Axon. It is single, long and cylindrical. Its primary function is to conduct the nerve impulses away from the cyton. The plasma membrane of neuron is called neurolemma. The axon is covered by medullary sheath and possesses node of Ranvier. It may form a number of terminal arborizations. Let's understand how nerve impulse travels in the body. Stimuli acquired at the end of the dendritic tip of a nerve cell sets off a chemical reaction that creates an electrical impulse. This impulse travels from the dendrite to the cell body and then along the axon to its end. At the end of the axon, the electrical impulse sets off the release of some chemicals. These chemicals cross the gap, or synapse, and start a similar electrical impulse in a dendrite of the next neuron. This is a general scheme of how nervous impulses travel in the body. A similar synapse finally allows delivery of such impulses from neurons to other nerve cells.
That now brings us to the end of our session. That's a very short clip that is entirely summarizing what we just discussed in terms of types of neurons, their parts, and their functions in relation to body coordination and effecting the required body actions in terms of response to the changing environmental conditions. That's the end of our lesson today. Looking forward for the next session. Bye.